You're listening to the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast, live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill in St. Joseph, Missouri. It's our live weekly chat with Missouri Western coaches and athletes. Here's your host for the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast, Tommy Rezach.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to Hi-Ho Bar and Grill for our live edition of the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast, heard weekly at this time at Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. I'm Tommy Rezach. Hope everybody had a good weekend, a pretty good weekend of Griffin action to talk about with another busy week ahead. We'll dive into all of that coming up over the next hour or so. But we've got our panel of coaches with us. You might notice we have new baseball coach Michael Keeran with us. He's going to talk some fall baseball with us here pretty shortly. And cross-country coach Sean Gosewich back in action this weekend in Joplin. And then Griffin Soccer. They've had a busy slate to start. They were in Rolla on Friday night with a win over S&T, going to play William Jewell tomorrow before about a week and a half off there. So we'll get into all of that in a little while. Coaches, we like to dive into a myriad of topics up here. And, of course, yesterday, that was a big game in the afternoon with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to start with a question that's going to be on a lot of shows today. Is it time to do away with the tush-push? There were some folks that were left a little confused after yesterday's game. I don't know. Jake, I know you're a big NFL guy. Michael, Sean, I'm not sure, but I don't know. Fire away. What do you think?
I think as long as it's within the rules of the game, I know there's some questions about, how they line up and how they kind of operate it. But, at that point, I think it just needs to be maybe, managed or overseen a little bit better from the officials. But, I don't know how you can just stop, ban something just because, other teams aren't great at stopping it. But I don't know. Yeah.
Sean, any thoughts there?
No, agreed. If it's successful and it's legal, I don't see why you got to, control it at all. Hopefully it doesn't just turn into 32 teams doing the tush-push all the time, right?
Yeah. Michael, any thoughts there?
I think it's been a debate that's went back since Reggie Bush, Matt Weiner, USC, Notre Dame. It's been 20-year-old debate. So I don't really have an opinion on it. I think 4th and inches, you have to call something, and the QB sneak's always been around. It's just innovation of the QB sneak.
Yeah. Now, of course, baseball is one of those games where we're always debating what's within the rules, tradition versus adaptation. I don't know, what do you make of kind of the way baseball is progressing in terms of, the debate about, designated hitter, the pitch clock? I don't know, what are your kind of observations on that?
The DH, I think it's probably for the best. I think pitchers, they're not good at it, so don't make it best. But I think the pitch clock, my worry is, with that type of pace, is it going to lead to more injuries, especially with how hard guys are throwing?
Sure.
And I just think you can only rush so many things. Yeah. And I think, when guys are throwing 98 with ride or cut action, you're going to need sometimes more than 20 seconds to regroup pitch to pitch. It's not 1985 anymore where it's 85 to 90. There's some guys throwing some pretty crazy stuff out there. They're throwing sliders harder than the average fastball from 20 years ago, so it's pretty crazy.
I know in running there's maybe not as much debate on those rules, but Coach Plocher, I guess in soccer there's obviously varying levels. What's the biggest debate among maybe in the college game of any big rule change recently, anything on the horizon you think that we'll be dealing with? Or?
I don't know necessarily maybe in the college game, but I think at the professional level they've started to implement where time wasting is always kind of a thing, and so now if the goalkeeper has it in their possession but they hold on to it for longer than kind of that 8-second count that they're supposed to, the official can reward a corner kick to the other team, and they can kind of do the same thing with throw-ins, and I think it's great. I think it just keeps things flowing and keeps things going, and we'll see how that, progresses. But I've seen it already a couple of times, and I like it.
Yeah, I love that. We'll talk a little bit of soccer later on. We'll talk some football later. Coach Fenwick is on his way with one of his student athletes, receiver Damir Abdullah, set to be here. But, coaches, I wanted to share this. I was talking to Fenwick before the game on Saturday, talking to our quarterback, Kane Donovan. Fenwick told me recently that he asked our quarterback, what hobbies do you have outside of football? And he apparently said, really not much else. That got me thinking, I know we're all in season and we're all busy, but what hobbies do you guys have maybe in the off season, or do you hope to have one day? It can be a tough industry to have hobbies, right? Anything you like to do for fun? outside of that?
It's tough, but I mean, the only thing now is probably again just walking the pup. Taking her on walks. It's kind of mutually beneficial, I suppose. Yeah. But the family has done some different things. Whether it's did a little bit of gardening, or my mom does like some spinning and some different things. So I got to find something, obviously, to fill the time. But right now it's just kind of walks with the pup.
Yeah. Well, Sean, I don't know if running counts or not. I mean, leisurely running, but
it shouldn't, right? Yeah. That's what I do. Outside of that, I'm a bit of a bookworm, so find some time to kind of hang out and read.
Oh, hey. Oh, look who it is. It's Coach Fenwick. We were just talking about you, actually. I was referring to when you told me.
Only positive things. Nothing under the bus, nothing, nothing bad.
Yeah, I have witnesses to protect me here. But
why'd you start without me?
Well, the show starts at noon, my friend. Okay. It's 5 after. Yeah. But I was asking these guys, you told me in the pregame on Saturday that you asked Kane Donovan, your quarterback, recently, what hobbies do you have? And he said, not much. He's kind of married to the game. I'm curious, what hobbies do you have when you have a little bit of downtime, if that ever comes?
I don't have a lot of hobbies.
No.
But I will say that when I do have time, it's really more for spending time with the family.
Yeah, of course.
Just because, I didn't start playing golf again until this year. I took probably 10 years off of playing golf just because I did, it's like you go, if I got the time, do I want to go hang out and do something with the family or spend 4 hours on the golf course?
Yeah.
Probably Craig would say spend 4 hours on the golf course. But see, never listened to me.
Should we ban the tush push? We talked about that. What do you think about that? That was a big topic in the Chiefs game yesterday.
No.
Okay.
Why would they? Why?
Chiefs post-game
What's
podcast.
Illegal about it?
That's the question. Yeah.
Why? I'm curious.
They say it's hard. They say it's hard to officiate. Do you agree with that, or?
Yeah, I guess, but I'm surprised more teams in the NFL don't do it.
Yeah, we have our size package, right? We do a lot of different things in short goal line. Is the quarterback sneak? That's probably the closest thing we have in our playbook to the brotherly shove, right?
It is a quarterback sneak, really
glorified.
Yeah.
Just a little extra push. Michael, any hobbies? Any hobbies outside of baseball?
No, not really. I'm terrible at golf. I'm not patient enough for fishing. I got 2 little kids, so my 1 4-year-old just started up t-ball and flag football. So I think just trying to pass whatever knowledge I have down to him. And then the 2-year-old, he's just nuts. So just spending time with them, but that's about it. I wish I could, get away a little bit sometimes, but it's just not possible.
Yeah, it is hard, especially in season. Last thing, this was a...
Tommy, what are your hobbies?
I like to cook. I like to golf, even though I'm awful at it. Like Jake, I've got a dog, and my wife has a dog, so we got 2 dogs now. So, and then I'm a recent homeowner of 10 months, so whatever's needs fixing there. I seen a Progressive commercial lately. It said, lawn care does not count as a hobby. I kind of took that personally. I love my riding mower.
There's nothing better than getting on a riding lawnmower and just killing some time.
Yeah, I got to say, Saturday morning, I love these night games, Coach, because I was able to listen to my alma mater on the radio, and then I got done, and I got ready for the game. I showered, and I was fresh and ready to go. The grass was cut, so keep the night games coming, I say.
Is Nebraska going to play anybody this year?
Michigan in 5 days. We'll find out. Yeah. And that's a conference opener, and of course Missouri Western has their conference opener against Central Missouri. Did Damir Abdullah come per chance?
He's on his way.
Awesome. So we'll hear.
You said 12:20.
You're going later.
Yeah.
You're probably at half past. Yeah,
he'll be
good.
Here.
He's good.
Okay.
Yeah, but. Yeah, thanks for coming, though. I appreciate it. We'll
You're
talk
welcome.
football later in the show. We'll talk cross-country soccer. And, yes, fall baseball. That's what we'll talk about next as the Griffins are getting ready for the Doug Minnis Alzheimer's Awareness Charity Game. Makes its return to St. Joseph Sunday, September the 28th. So we're going to kind of advertise that a little bit earlier. We'll talk volleyball. Coach Fi's in a meeting. She's on her way here as well. So we appreciate the coaches for the roundtable. We'll take a break. Be back in a couple of minutes. It's the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on the Griffin Sports Network. Rolling on with our GSI Podcast live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. I'm Tommy Rezach. Pleased to talk some baseball. Of course, it is still going on at the professional level. College baseball enjoying its off-season right now. But Griffin baseball under first-year head coach Michael Keeran, who's up here. They'll play a few games this fall, all at home, and starting in less than 2 weeks, September the 28th, with the return of the Doug Minnis Alzheimer's Awareness Charity Game, which originally started in 2019. We played it in Atchison in 2024, And actually, this game got rained out this past March, so we're playing it in the fall, Sunday the 28th, a 12:37 p.m. start, which, of course, Coach, is in honor of Doug Minnis' jersey number 37. I know you're kind of getting familiar with it your first year here, but just talk to us about kind of the significance of this and what it means to be involved with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great on both ends where we get to play, see how good we are, and then also just honoring someone who's meant so much to both programs, and then on top of that, being able to, create awareness and spread awareness about Alzheimer's. And it's just a no-brainer.
Of course, this is keep going. I'm sorry.
But the guy did so much for both programs, and to be able to honor that is, it's an honor to be a head coach here, and he was the guy that started it. So it's you have to respect the history and how much he's meant to just this entire area. We're excited about that, and it's going to mean a lot more than I think people think.
Yeah, the proceeds, of course, from this game benefit the Alzheimer's Association. Can you scoot that mic up just a little bit for me as well? Thank you so much. Doug Minnis, of course, the history, we know that. 1970, the first year of Griffin baseball, he was the head man up until 1999, and Coach Minnis' sons, Stephen and John Patrick, played for Benedictine. Jack just wrapped up his senior year with the Ravens within the last year or so, and then Stephen Minnis is currently the president of Benedictine University there, our neighbors to the west in Atchison, so that'll be a neat deal this fall. Sunday, September the 28th. Again, that is set for a 12:37 p.m. start this year. But you're going to play games, Coach, Friday, October 10th against Peru State, and then your old team, Northern Oklahoma Junior College, set to come in tentatively on October the 24th. So obviously got a little time before then, but you get 3 games here. They don't count, right? They're mostly a little bit for fun, but also a little bit to see what you got here. It's a pretty new roster, as we know. So what's the value you hope to get out of these fall games?
Yeah, I mean, we have so many new guys, so we need to see how they compete in a competitive setting. And also, I mean, last year's team was compete, and this year's to win, you know, and I think winning is a skill set. So we've put a lot of value into inter squads, pays to be a winner. So we want to, in these games, embrace the fact that it is competition. I don't care if the scoreboard's on or not, at the end of the day, if you win. And so we're going to play to win every single game. I don't care if it's, in September or if it's in May. I don't care if it's here or if it's in Iraq. We're going to go out there and play to win every single game. And winning is a skill set, so we're going to work on it.
So 30 transfers signed. If you want to read up on the Griffins signing class, that's up on our website, gogriffins.com. You click on the baseball tab, you'll see it under our recent headlines, and it's a class that some analytics are ranking in the top 3 in all of Division II baseball right now, and 13 from Division I schools, a lot of JUCO talent as well. It just kind of tell us about the process of bringing in this class, because you were able to attract some pretty noticeable, pretty tangible talent to come in here and help you out your first year.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Coach O'Donnell and Coach Monroe. They did a really, really good job identifying talent and using their connections and networking to bring in some really good players. So that was a collective team effort. It was not just all me. They did a really good job with it. But, yeah, it was usually that time of year, you're identifying maybe 10 guys, right, in the new era of the transfer portal and junior college recruiting, and it was like times 3 this year. So, I got 3 times less the amount of sleep. I don't think my wife and my children probably liked me some days. I was kind of irritable. But, yeah, man, we put on a brave face every day and went out there and got it done, and I'm really excited about it. It's all right now. It doesn't mean anything, those rankings and stuff, but I think it does go to show how much effort our coaching staff put into it and how much belief I think people have in the direction of our program, whether it's administration or coaches or now current players. Yeah. So the place sells itself, and I'm really excited for the future. And we're going to try to win right now. And that's what I told our guys when we recruited them through the recruiting process. Is I'm not going to go out and get transfers and try to build it like a 4 or 5 year, 3 to 5 year plan. We're going to go and try to win right now, and then we'll figure it out later, and we'll figure what we need to get better out in the future. But every year is a chance to be in the mix. So I'm just not patient enough to do it that way.
Absolutely. Wow, that's got me fired up for mid to late February when we get baseball back going. And shout out to Chris Monroe, Connery O'Donnell sitting back there, our new baseball assistants. So, yeah, shout out to those guys. So make sure to wave and say hi when you see them. But you've been in the community now, a couple months. I've seen you out at some events and things. Just what has the reception been like for you just this summer and now into the school year?
Yeah, no, it's been great. I think it's a total collective effort. And, I could thank a bunch of people here. Just Madeline and Grayson putting up with 30 transfers is a ton. So for them to be able to do that, they're kind of the unsung heroes. Yeah, it was a lot. So I think within the department, it was nothing but good things to say. And you would always adjust and adapt to different communities. And going from a small town in Oklahoma where everybody knows everybody to here, it's a little bit different. And then also just the pieces of having a young family with that change. But it was great. My one son's in flag football right now.
Awesome.
So I think that's a great way to kind of connect the community in our program. And that's what we've had, prospect camps, team camps, all that stuff. So being able to get to know people, I feel like I meet someone new every day, and that's a cool part.
Yeah.
Cool part of it.
Yeah, great to hear. And, of course, we, Coach Keeran and I had an extended conversation back in August, thereabouts. I know it was before my wedding. And that is on the Griffin Sports Insider Podcast archive. So if you go back and look, it was, I think, the first week of August we published that, a little bit of a get-to-know-you on Coach Keeran, our newest head coach on the campus. So, Coach, thanks for the time. Again, we're promoting that Doug Minnis Alzheimer's Awareness Game. Look out for a little press release, a little more information on that. But Sunday, September the 28th, right here in St. Joe at 12:37 p.m. And, of course, Peru State, October 10th. Northern Oklahoma Junior College, October the 24th. Some chances to see these new Griffins in action on the dirt in the fall before things completely freeze over. But, Coach, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on before I've ever won a game at Missouri Western, so I appreciate that.
There you go.
And go Griffs.
Yeah, there you go. Michael Keeran, everybody, new baseball coach here at Mo West. Appreciate him taking the time. Get to know him, get to know his coaches. They're right back there. So, yeah, that got me excited for the season to come in 2026. We'll take a break and get back to some sports that are in season that are going, and one of them's cross country. They had a week off, but now they go to Joplin for the Southern Stampede. That's an early start on Saturday morning, so we'll talk about that with the interim head coach, Sean Gosewich. You're listening to the GSI Podcast live from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on the Griffin Sports Network. Rolling along on a GSI Podcast on this Monday, September the 15th. I'm Tommy Rezach. We're talking Griffin cross country now with the head coach, Sean Gosewich. The Griffins were in action a week ago this past Friday at the Platte River Rumble Gold. Enjoyed a weekend away from competition. But, Coach, as we talked about up here last week, important days, right, to eat the right things, to get enough sleep, to get out there and do your workouts. So it's a meet week. It's competition week. How are we feeling here a few days out from it?
Pretty good. We definitely scale things back a little bit on certain meet weeks, depending on what the schedule looks like overall. So this week just happens to be a down week going into a pretty big meet. So we're looking forward to competing well and feeling a little bit more rested than usual going into this one.
Well, let's talk about it. It's this Saturday. It's an early start, 8 a.m. for the women, 8:45 for the men. It's a course we're pretty familiar with, the Tom Rutledge cross-country course there in Joplin. And if I remember what Coach Ingold has said over the years, that is a designated cross-country course. It is built for this purpose. What do you kind of know about it, remember from it, and is it faster than where we were before? Just kind of break that down.
Sure. It's fairly similar, right? Yeah. It's similar to what ours is, a dedicated cross-country course, all grass, all very well marked. They hosted the regional meet on it last year, and they will again this year. So this is a bit of a regional preview for us. We've been on this course before. It's just good to get on it again before we hit regionals in November.
Yeah. So how many teams are we looking at here on Saturday?
I would expect pushing 20 based on the list I've seen.
And is that mostly just D2, Central Region?
It's a healthy mix. There's definitely your D2, Central Region who are looking to get a preview. There's a handful of NAIs, JUCOs, D3s, so it'll be a wide range.
Okay. And we know a lot of young runners, particularly on your women's team. It was like 4 or 5 freshmen got to have their debut a couple weeks ago. How many are we running on each side? Are you mixing up that lineup at all?
Sure. It'll be pretty similar on the women's side. We'll put 7 or 8 on the line. And guys will be adding some to the mix who didn't race last week. Returners and guys who should be up front, right? Your POWs, your Mason McCain's, your Sam Ships. Those guys are going to be part of our top 5, and it'll be good to see them open up for the first time. It will be the first 8K for a lot of newcomers, so getting their feet wet on that side of things.
So it's 8K for the men?
Correct.
And then 7 for the women?
No, 5.
5.
But the guys did 6K last week, so it's
Got it.
that extra
Okay.
2K this week. Be a little bit different.
Excellent. Well, and I guess last thing, in that first meet, we talked about, lining up next to teams like Nebraska, like a Creighton. I think maybe UNO was there as well. So to line up against, teams we're familiar with, teams we should be competing against and beating, are you hopeful that some runners will see their names climb up that leaderboard a little bit more?
Absolutely. There should be a little less nervousness and anxiety on the line, more of a bit of a fire. Like, okay, these are our conference teams. These are our regional foes. Let's get after them a little bit.
Okay. So 8K for men, 5K for women.
Correct.
All right, cool. Want to get our numbers right. That's an early start from the Tom Rutledge Cross Country Course in Joplin. 8 a.m. start for the women's race, 8:45 for the men. And, of course, as soon as we get them, we'll have those results for you at gogriffins.com. And then after that, it is the Griffin Invite, 2 weeks from Saturday, October the 4th on homecoming weekend at our cross country course. So getting ready for the second annual Griffin Invite after we get through this weekend. But until then, Coach, good luck. Safe travels down there. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Sean Gosewich talking some cross country for us as they enjoyed a week off from competition, and we'll get back at it here this weekend, staying in the Show Me State. We'll take a break. We got to keep moving. We got lots to get to still. We'll talk Griffin soccer. They had another pretty good week, still unbeaten, and getting ready to put that streak on the line tomorrow when they go to William Jewell. We'll hear from Coach Jake Plocher and freshman starter Rosemary Pujado. She had a big week herself, particularly in Rolla this past Friday night, so we'll talk about it next. It's the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Continuing from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill on our GSI Podcast, talking Griffin soccer now, entering the week at 3-0-1 and getting ready to conclude non-conference play tomorrow, just down the road in Liberty, taking on William Jewell. We'll preview that and recap the last couple of matches with Coach Jake Plocher and a freshman striker and midfielder from Overland Park, Kansas, a two-time state champion at Blue Valley West High School, and sister of now graduated Griffin soccer player Elizabeth Pujado, Rosemary Pujado, joining us. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys coming. And start with Tuesday. We go to Wayne State for a regional contest and a gritty battle. 1-1, a draw there in Wayne, Nebraska on Tuesday night. Alexis Jennerwine, her first career goal to get us going. And, Coach, I know you had expressed on social media in particular that you had some opportunities there. I counted 8 shots on goal in the last 33 minutes. 14 shots in all. I think Rachel Benavides had like 5 or 6, just unable to connect that last dot. But nonetheless, a tie doesn't hurt you as bad as a loss. That's a regional opponent. Thoughts on Tuesday night's effort?
Yeah, I thought our girls did a really good job of coming out and kind of pushing the tempo and creating some chances. I think where we struggled a little bit was just kind of in that final third of making the right decision or having that composure a little bit more. But again, I'm very impressed and pleased with again, the work rate that they showed. That was Wayne State's, I believe, second game, and again, that was ours, third in the fifth day type setting. And so, if you looked at it, I mean, we didn't really look like the tired team, and so that was encouraging. Would have loved to have been able to come out with a different result, but at the end of the day, again, pleased with the process of it, and we'll continue to just focus on that, and then the outcomes, hopefully take care of themselves.
Well, as S&T football came to us, you guys went down to Rolla to take on the Miners on Friday night, and that was a 2-1 victory. And Rosemary, your first career goal, comes in the 29th minute, an equalizer off the assist of Nicoletta Froelich, and then Aiden Woodall had the go-ahead, the game winner in the 71st minute. Defensively, I think that was the big adjustment, right? S&T had 1 shot total in the second half, but Rosemary, just take me through that moment to get your team on the board in that one.
Well, I started out wide, and I know Coach Jacob has been talking to us about making the runs that are not just straightforward but diagonal. And there was a previous game where that was wide open, like every single time. And I saw Nico pick her head up, and I just started my diagonal run, and she played an amazing ball. And then the goalie came out very fast, and I didn't have much time to think, and so I just hit it with my left foot in hopes that it would go in, and it went in, and next thing I know, I'm on the ground. So
And it all worked out
Yeah.
for the best. And I think I had remarked either during the Northern match or the Bemidji one that, you had some pretty good shots, some chances in that one. I'm like, that first career goal is going to come pretty quickly as your college career is just taking off, and lo and behold, it did. Coach, we'll get back to a little bit of get to know you on Rosemary, but we had Morgan Bird up here last week, Coach, and we had some weekly honors. She gets Keeper of the Week, and then Maddie Harmon, Defender of the Week honors this past week, and she scored her first career goal the weekend prior, did Maddie, and she played all 90 minutes, did Maddie, at S&T Friday. She had 100 total minutes last year, Maddie Harmon. She's up to 267 so far. How have you seen her kind of take that next step in her second year here?
Yeah, again, she was one who she transferred in from UT Tyler, and she had a lot of minutes under her belt even then. And so, I think it was just one of those where it was nothing necessarily, against her. It was just we had, a basically returning back line, and so we tried to find some different opportunities to get her some looks and some minutes. But she's one that she stayed true to the course. She kept doing the work. Took advantage of a good spring when those opportunities kind of presented themselves, and she's stepped up. She's really put in some big minutes already. Facing some of the attackers that we've gone against, and they're big, they're physical, and so she's been able to kind of stay in that with through her work. So really pleased and happy for her, and obviously we're hoping we can continue that throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, and of course, Rosemary, with your background a little bit, your sister Elizabeth first came here in 2022 before Coach Plocher was here. Started at Missouri Southern, and she had a pretty good career, all conference one of those years. I know she put through a lot of goals as well. As you're coming up through high school, when did it become apparent that this was a place and a sport that you were going to want to play here?
Well, to be honest, I actually didn't know if I wanted to play college soccer. Had a little bit of a rough club season, and then it wasn't until high school season started up again. And, I loved my team. I loved the environment. And then just coming to Elizabeth's games and seeing the environment that they had here, it reminded me a lot of, my high school environment, and just reminded me why I love soccer. It's not just about the game, but it's about my teammates and creating a family with them.
Sure.
So.
And obviously, Jake, it's a neat thing to have that legacy, that connection. And obviously, she played regionally, right, from the Overland Park area, Greater KC. What made you interested in Rosemary's talents and bringing her here?
No, again, I think you look at even just what she's done so far as a freshman, being able to step in and, the moment's never too big. She has a unbelievable work rate. She's also very physical. She'll slide if she needs to slide. She'll, go into challenges hard, very coachable, and just a threat when we're trying to get into the attack. So very happy and excited and encouraged so far with kind of the small body of work that we've seen.
Well, we'll end on this. You go to William Jewell tomorrow, and then we're off for about a week and a half till we open conference play at Rogers State a week from this Friday. But Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, William Jewell, 0-1-2 thus far. They took a loss to Newman early. They drew Wayne State, a scoreless draw if I remember, and then they had a draw against Illinois Springfield. And it's a team that you've played your first couple years here. We've done well, a couple of shutouts, but I feel like that's a program. It's always gritty. Maybe they're underdogs on paper. They always play hard. What are you looking for tomorrow night?
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it right there with how they approach the game. Like I said, they're, sure, maybe they haven't gotten some of those results, but they're a team that's not going to quit. They're going to work hard. They're going to put us under pressure. So we have to be able to withstand that. We have to be able to kind of stick to how we try to go about things, and obviously take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves, and hopefully we'll be able to come out with the result that we want.
And Rosemary, I guess I'll throw this one your way to get a week and a half off before you go to Claremore, just to get some time to breathe, get your legs back under you. That's probably going to feel good, right? You guys have been on the bus a lot. You've been playing a lot of soccer the last couple weeks. So how useful will that rest be, do you think?
Very useful. I can't wait to not be stuck in a bus for 4.5 hours. But the trips have always been fun.
Sure.
But yeah, the week and a half off will be really nice, just to get my body back to feeling 110%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. I think it'll also be nice for us to have that time to be able to, again, fine-tune some areas that we want to kind of clean up or make sure that we're sound as we then start to open up conference play.
Yeah. Still a couple weeks till the Griffins are home, but the last conference match is not the last non-conference match, sorry, at William Jewell tomorrow at 6. And fortunately, that's basically just a commute, about 45 minutes down the road to get there. And then a further drive to Claremore a week from this Friday to play Rogers State. That'll be the conference opener. And then homecoming weekend, the Griffs will be back home. I think it's Newman, October the 3rd, when we're back home.
Yep.
So, and then there's another match. That's a big weekend. I'm not even looking that far ahead yet. But that's a roadmap as to what's on the horizon for Griffin soccer. And just like last year at this time, still unbeaten at 3-0-1. Rosemary, Coach Plocher, thanks so much. Good luck tomorrow.
Yep, thank you.
There you go. Rosemary Pujado, Jake Plocher joining us on this part of the program. We'll keep things rolling. We'll take a break. We'll talk volleyball. But you talk about some big things that happened this weekend. Volleyball was making some things happen in the Rocky Mountains in Denver at the Colorado Premier Challenge, taking on some of the best that D2 has to offer in this sport. So we'll talk with Coach Jessica Fye about that on the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Continuing on our GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill with the head coach of Griffin Volleyball now, Jessica Fye. The Griffs off to a good start at 6-2 overall. A big weekend down in Denver. We knew it would be for the Colorado Premier Challenge. And it started off great on Friday, didn't it? Wins over second-ranked Angelo State, 11th-ranked Concordia St. Paul, the first 6-0 start since 2006, the highest-ranked win in the D2 era. And Coach Fye, I know Saturday wasn't probably what you were hoping for. West Florida, Wayne State. We're in the gold bracket. We played Wayne for the third-place match, and both of those end up as 4-set losses. But, man, did you not only see some good volleyball, played some good volleyball, just what was the difference in your mind between Friday and Saturday?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Friday was exciting, very emotionally and mentally exhausted by Friday. You know, we put a lot of effort into those games. Like the last set of Angelo was 30-28, and so just the, relief when that set was over. So that was tense. But, going into Friday, Tommy, I wasn't feeling too hot. We didn't play very good that opening weekend. I didn't really want to say it on air last week, but it was pretty horrible volleyball we played that first weekend. So I wasn't really feeling very good walking into, a ranked-only tournament. And then just, lack of preparation. Last week we had some illnesses going on, and so I was extremely proud of our team, extremely proud of how we were able just to find our footing again. I kind of asked them after that first match, how we were feeling. And they're like, well, we weren't happy with the product we put on the court last weekend, and so, we knew we were going to have to step it up this week. And so very happy that, that's where their mind's at and their expectations are at. They're just as high as mine are. But Friday, I thought we played well. I thought we matched up well with Angelo and Concordia. We had some big games out of Taylor Russell. Our middles had great matches as well. And then our defense played exceptionally high-level defense Friday matches. And then Saturday, it was a little bit harder to prepare for. We didn't have as good as scouts. We were limited with time there. Didn't know who you play. So we didn't, matchup-wise, it was a little bit harder for us. Taylor didn't have a great game against West Florida, so we can't expect her to be the only performer every game, but that does hurt a little bit. And then they just exposed some of our weaknesses that happened to us on Friday. We just didn't make great adjustments, unfortunately. In the first two sets, we made those adjustments 3 and 4, but we just kind of fell short. Execution-wise, towards the end of those sets, we're up 20-16 in the first set against West Florida. I'm feeling pretty good. And then we miss serves. We, just do some silly things that we can't do against great teams. So it's a good learning experience. That's what I told them. I said, we're so much better because of these games, because of this weekend. But now we have things that we need to fix.
Yeah, and it was, at 11:30 Central, 10:30 Mountain start on Saturday, right, to play West Florida, coming off the win against Concordia St. Paul on Friday afternoon, which was the first win in history over CSP, the team we played in the NCAA tournament. So, so much kind of unique history that happened in so many good teams that the Griffins saw. I wanted to ask you about Caitlin Deani O'Day, our freshman, getting in there playing some setter. She had 14 digs against Angelo. I mean, she's been getting her feet quite wet in her first year. Just what have you seen out of her so far, kind of playing that role?
Yeah, she's done a good job. She's a very level-headed player. The first weekend, she definitely had the freshman scares. I'll say it. She was really nervous, didn't play her game. So I'm glad we kind of had those games to get her into it. But yeah, she's doing a good job. Running an offense against teams like that is tough. She definitely struggled in moments this weekend, especially defensively. So you said she has 14 digs. I'm sure she's going to throw it at my face later because I didn't think she played great defense this weekend. But yeah, she's doing a good job. She finds the middle really well, and that's, Emma. She sets Emma most of the time, so she's able to get Emma going a little bit. But yeah, she's done some great things. We need some growth from her and just the speed of play area. She's still trying to acclimate to how fast things move. And so if she can acclimate there, she's going to be able to run a higher level offense. She's just kind of playing catch up right now sometimes.
Is that kind of a new thing, rotating Haley and Caitlin? I mean, that wasn't really the case your first couple of years, was it, where Nessa was kind of the...
Yeah, no, we're running a 6-2 this year.
Yeah.
Nessa ran a 5-1, so we only had one setter. And so we're running a 6-2. It gives us a little bit more offensive options because now we have 2 right sides instead of 1, so we just have 6 hitters out there instead of 5. Barsky's 5'2" on a good day, so she's definitely not going in that front row. There was a couple times this weekend we ran out of subs, so Caitlin went through the front row against Angelo in that 28-30. We actually ran out of subs at 22 or something. It was something crazy. So we had Caitlin in the front row, we had Noelle in the back row, and then we had Emily Loy in the back row, which she does not belong back there. So the fact that we won that 4th set and we were just all discombobulated was even more exciting.
You say you ran out of subs. How many subs are you allowed per set?
We get 15.
15. Okay.
Yep.
I knew it was a limit. I couldn't remember the exact number. I remember you were up here last week. You were saying you wanted to get some of your hitters going.
Yeah.
And Taylor Russell, even maybe if it wasn't a carryover every single match, I felt like that was a step forward for her. 21 kills against Concordia. By and large, did you see some progress there from your outside hitters?
Yeah, Taylor did not have a great first weekend, and she knew that. And
she's been hurt, too, a little bit, right? A little sore?
No, just sore.
Okay. Yeah.
And so she came along. She got the reps in. Her and Barsky weren't really connecting very well. So at first, we thought we were going to start Caitlin. She was going to be our starting setter. So Caitlin and Taylor were together the first 3 weeks of practice. Well, then Caitlin had the freshman moment, so then we switched it. And so Barsky and her really need to work on their connection. And so we kind of established that a little bit more this last week in practice and just how we were doing our 6s and stuff. So she did a good job just working on that connection, and I think that got her going, just getting a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
We didn't get as much out of Trista as I would like this weekend, so she struggled with her connection with her setter, so we have to hammer that down this week.
Yeah, just it's as many returners as there are a lot of kind of new combinations this year with some of the folks that we've added to the roster. We get ready to end non-conference play now, and back on the road, at least we get to stay in the state. You're going to Kirksville for the Truman State Tournament. We'll take on Truman State. We played them in Pitt the weekend prior. William Jewell and Rockhurst. So Truman and Jewell, that'll be Friday's matches at 1:30 and 4. Rockhurst Saturday at 11:30. Now, without looking at the GLVC standings, my gut tells me probably, those are matches we should be able to win. You see one of these teams already. Just what are your hopes for this weekend?
Yeah, just to continue the progress. I don't want to play down to people's levels. We want to continue to play high-level volleyball. Rockhurst is someone that we scrimmaged a lot in the spring. We scrimmaged this preseason. They're tough. I think they had a really rough week. I think we went to Alaska this last weekend and lost all their games.
Wow.
But that's definitely not a representation of who they are, and so that match is going to be important. They have some really nice players. The coach does a really nice job. So we're going to definitely have to be a heads-up team and execute at a high level for that match.
I thought people only went to Alaska to go on cruises, not to play volleyball.
They host, and usually
goodness.
Schools make it a big old trip out of it and stuff. So I think they struggled a little bit. Those Alaska teams, you don't really see them very often. So I don't know how good they are or anything about them, honestly.
The Denali State-back Ice Block Classic. That's a lot of words. They were in Fairbanks, Arkansas. That's Rockhurst, by the way, who the Griffins will play on Saturday. But Rockhurst, they've seen Northwest beat Hayes earlier this year as well. So that'll be a good one to end on Saturday at 11:30. They're in Kirksville on the Truman State campus. But, Coach, I know it was a long trip for you. Congratulations on the successes from Friday, and looking forward to seeing more. So appreciate your time.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thanks.
GSI joining us as we talk volleyball on the podcast. Lots to talk about. That was a big weekend And I think you heard Coach say, I think playing those kinds of teams will make them better going forward. All right, let's take our last break. We'll wrap up the show with football. That was a great night, Saturday night. Hats off to all of you. What an atmosphere. And hats off to the Griffins with a win over Missouri S&T. We do it all again this Saturday against Central Missouri. Tyler Fenwick, receiver Damir Abdullah here to talk about it next on the GSI Podcast from Hi-Ho Bar and Grill. Final segment of the GSI Podcast here today. We talk Griffin football with the head man Tyler Fenwick, and joining us is a 6'5" senior wide receiver, originally from Los Angeles, transferring to us from Idaho State University. He had a touchdown, his first career collegiate touchdown catch in the first half against Missouri S&T. Damir Abdullah. Damir, I feel a little bit like I do when I have basketball players up here. I'm a little self-conscious when we get someone who's 6'5" on this little table of mine, but I appreciate you coming out, and we'll get to know Damir a little bit. But Coach, that's a win, 27-10 against Missouri S&T. 5,207 the reported attendance on Saturday night. Dominant first half, maybe up and down second half, but defense consistent the whole way through. Credit the Miners, made some adjustments. They did not give up on the game, but you found a way to win. You told the team afterwards, winning is hard to do at this level, at any level, really. Just your lasting impressions from Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of a tale of two halves. I mean, defensively, first of all, we played lights out. I mean, that was about as a dominant defensive performance that we've had in a while. So that was fun, and I think more so, you could really see that we took the things from the Augustana game, the things that we worked on in the bye week, and applied those things. Just from a pass coverage standpoint, we were locked in with communication and the checks, and everybody's on the same page, and it just looked a lot more cohesive as a defensive unit. So we were able to play a lot of guys, kind of get some rotations going in. We were a little bit healthier in the secondary than we were game one. So that was good. It was good to see. And then, I thought offensively, the first half played really well. Did some good things, kind of got ourselves out of some penalty situations and kind of bounced back and drove down and scored. And then the second half, I thought S&T kind of blitzed a little bit more, showed a little bit more pressure, a little bit more man-to-man. And those are situations where you got to just connect the dots. I think they were really trying to blitz the run game, try to slow us down, and so. But that's where we got to continue to get better chemistry and just keep working with all the new receivers that we've got, and get on the same page with Kane and we missed Giassi by a fingertip, on one of them, and things like that. So I think we're in the right direction.
I think that was right at a halftime, right? We had the pick, and then Kane took the shot for the end zone, had Giassi. So that would have made it the 31-0 had that connected. But just the way it goes sometimes. You talk of new receivers, he's one of them. Yeah. Damir, one of 7 new receivers this year. 4 catches, 60 yards, a touchdown, a 24-yard grab in the first half, and that put us up 21-0 at that point. But you, Isaac Katab, Bryce Page, all getting your first career touchdowns. Family night as well, so I know a lot of people from out of town and out of state in town to watch us. Just how special was it to be a part of that?
It was great to be a part of that. I'm glad Coach put me in the right position to make that catch in the end zone. Just executed the play right. Kane got the ball over there, and we just executed pretty good on that play, and we had a great night.
I remarked as much on the air, your football journey is a significant one. You start at Colorado State as a tight end. You go to Idaho State, play safety, and you saw some time for the Tigers last year. Just talk to us about how the road ultimately led to Coach Fenwick and Missouri Western.
My first 2 years, Colorado State, I redshirted, and then a new coaching staff came in, and then I decided to get in the portal, ended up to Idaho State, and then I ended up having a position change over there. I went from safety to linebacker, got some playing time over there, but, my true position is receiver. So went in the portal again, and then Coach Fenwick reached out to me and ended up here in a great place.
And, Coach, I know you talked about his frame, his size, and you can see that up close and from up high. Speaks for itself, right, just his talents, but how fortunate are you for you and for Coach Bell to have had, sold him on this place and to get him here?
Yeah, we felt like we've always had that guy that's 6'5", long. We had Jake Berry before. Right. We lost him to seniority and graduation. And then, with Damir being out there and being at Idaho State, I knew some people on staff at Idaho State that gave a great recommendation, talked about his character, all those things. And obviously, the size and athleticism helps, and and so it just it worked out, and he's been great for the program. I mean, just a good program guy, a good guy that is coachable, wants to learn, soaks it up, and honestly, he's gotten better going through spring practice and kind of getting comfortable with the offense and the reads and the just how everything works and getting on the same page with the quarterbacks. Had a good fall camp, and now it's showing up.
And you're both from Greater LA, so there you go. That's just a coincidence, I guess. But let's talk about some of the things from that game. I want to throw a good number at you, Coach. We're number 2 in the MIAA right now in time of possession, averaging over 32 minutes a game. We have back-to-back weeks now with 90-plus yard scoring drives. We had the 99 against Augustana, 95-yard scoring drive against S&T. That's got to be a nice thing, right, to see your team be able to pull that off, sustain long drives, balance the run and the pass, almost about just shy of 200 yards rushing, 6 yards a carry. So another good week for those guys. Kane did his thing. I mean, to be able to sustain long drives, just talk about the importance of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It shows you consistency.
Yeah.
If you can put together a 13-play drive, a 10-play drive, a 95-yard drive, whatever it is, I mean, it shows you that, because that's something that you've got to be able to you got to be consistent. You got to be able to mix it up. Keep defenses on their heels a little bit. Keep them guessing. And I think that's the nice thing about our offense. I think we're very well rounded as far as I think we've got a really good stable of running backs that run the ball hard. We've got athleticism at receiver. Our offensive line is all returners and have experience. And so Kane's job is to basically distribute the football and make sure that we're just getting the balls to the guys that can do some things with it, and make sure that we're making the right reads in the run game, and just execute the offense. He doesn't need to do too much. He just needs to make sure he manages it.
260 through the air, 196 on the ground. Pretty balanced night offensively, and touched on defense a little bit. Here's another good number for you. Number 1 in the MIAA, number 4 in the country. I know it's only 2 games, but we're only giving up an average of 49.5 rush yards per game. 65 against Augie, just 34. S&T never abandoned the run game, 30 carries, but just 34 yards. What a testament to your front seven. Yeah, no, I mean, our front seven is really playing well. We've got some depth there on the defensive line, and I think we got some good depth at the linebacker position, all 4 of them. I mean, I think, obviously Keenan Gaskin being in there and being a veteran, and Brecken being a veteran, and then just watching these guys like Drew Scott and Brock Worcester that have just grown through our program and grown into the defense and understands, those guys are playing really well. And Trey Holmes moving down to outside linebacker. Khalid Surreal has been a guy that we've been waiting for him to kind of flourish, and kind of grow into his own. And so he's starting to make plays. And those are guys that have been in the program, that have been developing through our system. 2 weeks in a row, Damir, that 9 different Griffins have caught a pass. You, Bryce Marcus, Malik Moore, each with 4 catches. You had the team high 60 yards. This receiving room is so interesting. It's a mixture of guys who have been here, maybe only played a handful of snaps, and then it's guys who are new on campus. And I know, Coach Bell, you just watch him for a minute or two, you'll see the character and the energy he's got. What's it been like just working with Coach and this group of guys?
It's been great working with Coach Bell. I feel like he's a great coach. He gives us pointers. Like as soon as we mess up, he just gets on us. And I feel like he just is real, good coach. We got coachable players in the room. So everybody in the room is just, looking to get better every day. So it's just a good thing to be in the room and everybody's just getting better. That's receiver Damir Abdullah with head coach Tyler Fenwick on our GSI podcast. Well, when Chris came and found you at halftime, the first thing you remarked upon was penalties, and that was a consistent thing throughout the night. I think there ended up being a dozen of them. I feel like penalties are talked about every year, right? It's like, hey, don't do that thing, or it's like, man, wish we could cut back on penalties. It's a hard thing to simulate. It's one thing to go against your teammates and tell that guy, hey, don't do that thing. And then when the lights come on against an opponent, big atmosphere, it can get tough. I know it's a talk of reps and maturity and getting into good habits. So what is the difficulty of dissecting, let's do fewer penalties? That's a whole process, right? I mean, that's not... Well, a lot of times a penalty happens because of a couple things. Yeah. Number one, the discipline of being able to let up when you need to let up, and not take that extra step. Or it's a technique thing. Usually if it's a holding penalty, it's usually going to be some kind of a technique thing. Your feet are out of place, your hands are in the wrong place. So those are things that obviously from a fundamental technician standpoint, those are things that we have to make sure that we continue to improve upon. And obviously, you sit there and you watch some of the stuff, and
it's like, I don't know if that's really a hold. I mean, it's
debatable. Yeah. Every game's got that.
And different angles and things like that, and they're going to happen. And then you have the penalties that are a focus penalty, the false starts, the illegal procedure stuff where maybe we had an illegal motion. We had two guys in motion, That's a lack of focus.
We had 12 men, I think, twice.
Well, once I think. Okay. I think one time we had to burn a timeout because we ran our heavy. They came there heavy, and then we had to try to match it, and had the wrong guy in there. So, so things like that. But just being focused and staying in tune to what's going on in the game, what's the situation. Because there is a lot of, defensively, you're sitting there going, okay, if they've got 4 receivers on the field, we want to make sure that we're matching that. We don't have our bigger guys out there, and when they bring in their heavy, 3 tight ends and fullback and all that stuff, you got to make sure that you don't have all your little guys in there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to match that. And so, if you're bringing in 3 or 4 guys at a time, that whoever the 4th guy that's not paying attention needs to make sure he's paying attention. So, but yeah, I mean, those are things that we'll address today.
Yeah, and throughout the week as we get ready for another Saturday night at the Spratt, an MIAA opener, and a turn back the clock night. Folks, if you do subscribe to the GSI podcast, keep your eye out this week. We're going to we have talked to 5 members of that 1975 team that had the first winning season, first postseason appearance, first postseason win. So we'll get a little history lesson with it. But in the present day, we're taking on Central Missouri, a Mules team that's 0-2. They played Thursday night in Warrensburg against Colorado State Pueblo. The Thunderwolves ranked 13th at the time, and that was a seesaw of a game. UCM had a chance to win, came up short at the goal line. The Mules lost 29-24. They lost to Delta State in week 0. Like us, they had the bye week, September the 6th, so they've kind of had this stop and start schedule here early on. But yeah, Delta, a pretty good team. That's a ranked opponent. And big offseason news in our league was former Northwest Missouri State head coach Rich Wright. Well, he's now the defensive coordinator over there with Josh Lamberson, and Coach Lambo now in his 4th year as their head coach. And they also made a change, did Central Missouri at quarterback, not only to start the year, Zach Zabrowski now graduating, but they've been playing a couple different guys at quarterback. They made that change in the most recent game. But be that as it may, Coach, they're throwing the ball a lot. 345 pass yards a game, more than any team in our league right now. And like us, they've got a strength of schedule. They've played some good ones. Yeah. It's an exciting one. It's a good challenge. It's another night game. Just what are the big priorities on this one as you get ready?
Well, obviously they've played. They're 0-2, but that's not what their record needs to be. I mean, it's they played 2 really good teams, ranked teams. Yep. I think they had a chance to win the game against Pueblo. I mean, they had the ball on the 3-yard line. Had a penalty that backed them up, and then a sack that kind of took them out of it. So they were right there, but they're talented. They've got they're going to throw the ball around. They're going to spread you out from sideline to sideline. They're going to play with up tempo, speed. I mean, it's going to be our practices are going to have to kind of ramp it up a little bit just to get used to getting the calls and getting the checks and making sure that we're all on the same page in a fast-paced manner. So. Defensively, you got Rich Wright over there. He brought his defense over there, and so that's completely different. They were an odd front last year and 3 high safeties, and now they're more 4 down front. And we've seen Rich's defense for a long time now, and he does a great job at it. I mean, they don't let people run the ball on them. They keep things in front of them. They play sound. He's a really good coach, and so we got our work cut out for us. And we're going to have to go up and make some plays. There's going to be a lot of 50-50 balls that we're going to have to go win, the one-on-one matchups.
Yeah, well, Rich Wright on staff.
Damir, I'm talking to you.
I got you.
Rich Wright on staff at Northwest for 20 years, and he was a part of those 3 national titles with Adam Dorrell. His history with us and with the league, it definitely runs deep. And, again, we're going for a 6 o'clock kickoff, the pregame at 5:30. And, Damir, I'll end with this. I know you've seen and played in some pretty big stadiums in your past, but your first experience at home, over 5,000 in the stands. We had Adrian and the band going, the cheerleaders going. I mean, that was a full-fledged home atmosphere. Just how much did that excite you guys? How much was that cool to just witness?
It was really exciting. We had a great fan base. It was just loud through the whole entire game. Everybody just cheering and having a good time on a Saturday, and we came out with the win. So it was really good Saturday for the Griffs.
Yeah, hopefully carbon copy that this Saturday night. It's I talked to S&T's radio team before the game, and they said this is a step up in terms of our strength of opponent and schedule, and I'd say kind of the same thing as we're now in MIAA play. I mean, these are the ones that count toward your region, toward your conference. I mean, it really takes a step up here. And I talked to UCM's people, too, and they say, in reference to Coach Wright, he's said to me twice, he's like, he feels like they're getting a lot out of the players they have, just making that addition. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. A lot of unknowns in this one. Yeah. I saw somebody else say toss-up in an MIAA group chat I'm in. So it's going to be a good game. Exciting pregame at 5:30. The kickoff at 6 on the Varsity Network app, gogriffins.com/listen, and available to stream on the MIAA network as well. News Press Now's Kyle Schmidt will be back in the booth with me this week. And again, the 1975 Griffin football team to be honored. So be on the lookout for some of those guys, many of whom already Hall of Famers here at Mo West. Damir Abdullah, Tyler Fenwick, gentlemen, thanks. Good luck this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
Thank
There you go. That's how we'll end it today on our GSI podcast. It was exciting. What a way to open at home on Saturday night. So the Mules and the Griffins, that'll be a good one. Want to thank all of our coaches. Want to thank Rosemary Pujado, Jake Plocher, Sean Gosewich, Michael Keeran, and Jessica Fye for joining us as well. Thank our cameraman Jason Holland. Our audio man is Rick Leahy, and thanks to all the staff at High Ho Bar and Grill for their patronage as usual. And we'll be back next Saturday, day of the week, next Monday, September the 22nd for our next show. So stay tuned. Go Griffs. Enjoy your week. So long.